What up with it? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. Here again with another one. Hit that like button. Sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. Now, as promised, you knew I was gonna come with this. Salute to the brother Too Raw for TV. Go subscribe to the homie Too Raw for TV. Definitely a historian of the highest order, one of the generals in the LDBC, and has multiple platforms too as well. Um, and I know he feels a certain way about this topic as well as I do. But as promised, you knew I was getting ready to go ahead and talk about this because, you know, yesterday the look on Shaquille O'Neal's face said it all. And, they were talking about it on Twitter too as well, about how he looked at in the early days when we talked about the slam dunk contest and in comparison to right now. What's up with it, Marco Hinton? I see you in the building. Texas always represent. Now, let's take it back, okay? Because over here, man, whenever we talk about what's going on in the present, we always got to go back to the past, and we always also have to go back to the genesis of everything, right? Now, as you know, man, the NBA actually adopted, or should I say, stole not only the 3-point contest um, from the ABA, but they also stole the slam dunk contest from the ABA. The NBA was, uh, at one point in time, many people would tell you it wasn't really that exciting of a league in comparison to the ABA. Okay, now the ABA had featured it was a much more athletic league, flamboyant league. Guys were pretty much could be loose and free, and a lot of guys that like to get out and run and stuff. But what people have to understand is that the dunk was outlawed for a period of time, and it was outlawed, of course, because they had the Chamberlain rule, and it was also outlawed because of the Alcindor rule, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then in '76, I think it was '76 if I'm not mistaken. In '76, it was when they actually had legalized it. Now, then when they decided to go ahead and um, make it legalized and everything, and then they decided to have the ABA and NBA merger, then they finally decided to have the dunk contest at the professional level in 1984, which was a year after I was born. Okay. Um, and of course, you know, in that contest, it was Larry Nance who was at that time. I've already talked about Larry Nance once before, and what type of player he was. He was, yeah, excuse me. He was the first one to actually win it. You know. Now, At one point in time, man, what people had to realize is that it was there. The NBA dunk contest was it was one off season long event, okay, and a lot of people don't realize that at one point in time in like the 70s, like 76 and 77, it there were 22 competitors. There were 22 competitors in the slam dunk contest. All right, and a lot of people won't. They'll probably trip out because upon doing my research, you're gonna trip out on who was in the dunk contest. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the dunk contest. David Thompson, well, not surprising, David Thompson. Moses Malone and Elvin Hayes at one point in time. Okay, uh, now this is when everything started to get into the meat and potatoes of everything, and I think that '84, was it set the tone because it was the birthplace of where it had taken place and everything. Because what's it called had played for Denver, David Thompson, and then of course what's it called competed in there, Julius Erving, which was one of the most iconic, uh, one of the most exciting dunk contests ever. And of course, in this first one, well, in the '84 one, you had Larry Nance, like I mentioned before, and he actually beat Julius Erving. And these guys would actually go at it. Then you had Dominique Wilkins would compete. You know what I'm saying? He won, and then of course there was the one in '86, which like see it's stuff like this, like in '86 and '87. Um, yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Marco Hinton, the Dr. J in the ABA was exciting. They'll never know. Listen, a lot of people don't understand it. You'll never know the true Julius Erving unless you go back and you go look at him when he highlights of him when he played in the ABA. That was the real Julius Erving. The Julius Erving that came into the NBA, he had gotten older. You know what I'm saying? And you really didn't know the Julius Erving unless you really watched him when he played for the Nets in the ABA in his younger days, and of course when he played at Massachusetts, playing at Rutgers and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to say that Julius Erving was still, he was still athletic when for his older age too. I mean, this guy had gray hair and was still dunking on cats. You know what I'm saying? That just goes to show you how supremely gifted he was. But you always heard you said, Swoop K, you said the dunk contest was sad, man. You could tell the judges wanted to just go home. Dr. J's face had me dying the whole contest. Salute to you, brother. Julius Hurd got his nickname at the world. Yeah, a world famous record party. Yep, he did. Now, I'm going to say something about that. Now, I did feel that there should have been a 50 on Obi Toppin's dunk. That last dunk that he did, the reverse dunk, and it may have been, I don't know if it was the last dunk or it may have been the second to the last. Man, that one where he did, oh my God, over somebody, man, and through the legs and then the reverse. Now, I think that right there was by far the best dunk of the night because that was extremely difficult. I'm not taking anything away from the athleticism, but here's my thing about the whole thing, right? And I'm gonna get back on key to what I was saying. I just had to comment on what y'all was saying right quick. You know how I do over here. I try to respond to y'all as much as I can. Now, when it when it comes to a guy going out there like a like the guy that played for Golden State, I always forget his name or whatever, and it's taking you like you know several tries and all this other stuff. Listen, you got big shoes to fill when you talk about the dunk contest because guys like Vince Carter and Spud Webb and some of these other guys, they would go out there and pretty much do everything off of one try. You know what I'm saying? Off of one try. Dominique Wilkins would do one try. Maybe maybe they do one, maybe two tries at the most. But I think, man, like what needs to crack down. Look, you got one time to get that motherfucker right, or one maybe two times to get that motherfucker right. If you don't, or maybe even I'll stretch it out to three. But man, it's like, okay, you should have already have been trying to do this or practicing this whenever, you know what I'm saying, and had your shit right at the contest, you know what I'm saying? Or, if you could just got natural raw ability and uncanny ability to pull it off, then you better know what you're doing. Because, a guy like Dr. J and some of these other guys, and this is another thing too. I feel like the judges, they should actually be innovative individuals that have won the dunk contest, that have done it on the biggest stage. That's who I feel should be judges. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not taking nothing away from D Wade or any other judges, but it should be guys like like a Dr. J who will always be a judge, right? Like a Michael Jordan, like a Vince Carter, like a Larry Nance, even a Spud Webb, even a fucking D Brown. You know what I'm saying? Guys that have won the contest and have took that trophy home, and they may have not been the best NBA player, but at least they know what it takes to win, and they've been in that position before. Now, getting back to everything. Now, of course, you had MJ who who um who won back to back contests. Let me stop it right there. Now, another thing that has diminished over time, right? You don't see superstars, like actual superstars, trying to compete in the dunk contest anymore. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know, you have a choice to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You have a choice to compete and everything, and that's all fine. But like guys that were superstars in the league would actually compete. Dr. J, he was a superstar in the league, future Hall of Famer. Michael Jordan didn't mind competing. I think people would love that if they see a guy of that stature. Well, LeBron, it's a little bit too late, but a lot of people. And I'm not trying to make the subject about LeBron. Always talking about LeBron, all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't got nothing personal against LeBron and stuff like that, but I think people always throw in LeBron just to get some sort of cloud or draw attention and stuff like that. Look, I'm not trying to do that. We're talking about different things here, So, like I said, man, if y'all got a problem with that, hey, that's on y'all, okay? Now, that's what made the dunk contest special back in the days. You know what I'm saying? And it's diminished. That's one of the reasons why it's diminished over time, because guys, they just don't want to compete. And now all you see is, a lot of rookies, or role players, or guys, that come off the bench ain't really seeing no time, so they gotta let loose in all of their energy and everything. You know, so pretty much who ran the '80s. It was a combination of course, Larry Nance, and Dominique Wilkins, and Jordan, um, and even a lot of people, you know like Kenny Skywalker. Now, I actually I know Kenny Skywalker's brother. He actually he's from my mom's hometown. I know his son and everything. So, and like Kenny Skywalker was a beast, man. That was one of the best contests too as well. When you talk about New York, Kenny Skywalker and everything, man. He beat Clyde Drexler, and Clyde Drexler could get up. You know what I'm saying? And he was a superstar too as well. At the time he was starting to come into his own and all that other stuff. But nevertheless, man, he could get up too. Now, you also had, and see, with Dominique Wilkins going into the '90s, he was still competing. He was still competing. You know what I'm saying? Dominique Wilkins, he was still um taking it to a whole nother edge. Now the '90s was was a ridiculous time too as well. I'm talking about ridiculous as good. Um, you had Harold Miner. You had Harold Miner. You know what I'm saying? They called him Baby Jordan, and Harold Miner. Like it was tripped out. You said stop leg guys who can't jump. Well, I mean they could jump, but the attempt that they were trying to do, it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna sit up there and you're gonna try to do a dump, man, it shouldn't take you, 22 tries to try to get the ball in there. Like I said, man, Spud Webb was 5'6", 5'5", and 5'6", 5'7", or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And didn't need no attempt, and was still getting up there. What's up with it, TJ? Loves boxing. I'll see you in the building, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the homie TJ. What's up with it, Wilts? I'll see you in the building. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the homie, the Wilt Strong Show. Raise your hand out here. Raise your hand. But like I said, man, then you had the '90s. You had the '90s or whatever, and you had guys who I'm showing right now. Like, well, you got Harold Miner, and then of course, you had Isaiah Ryder, and then you had Kobe Bryant. The late great Kobe Bryant in there. You know what I'm saying? Like guys like that, and like Isaiah Ryder was was instrumental, because a lot of people don't know that he was the one that did the East Bay Funk, in which they do right now. You see Obi Toppin, he did it several times. All these guys were everybody. It's nothing for guys to do the East Bay Funk now. And if you don't know what the East Bay Funk is, it's pretty much taking the ball up under your leg, and then dunking it or whatever. Now let's get to the 2000s. Okay, let's get to the 2000s, because That's where we get down to the nitty gritty. All right. Now, in my opinion, all right, and you say whatever you want to. In my opinion, 2000 with Vince Carter, I think was hands down the best single performance in terms of dunk contest that I've seen, because Vince Carter was able to do it so effortless, like without no effort, effortlessly. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, this guy would come in there and off of one attempt, just I mean, and showing creativity, just showing creativity, and he pretty much would steal the show. But in he is the one that set the tone and set the bar. He was one of the ones that set the tone and set the bar high as to, okay, if you're gonna do a dunk, you better come with it or whatever, because we've seen Vince Carter do blase or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be hard for you to top that. Just like it was, like going into the 2000s or whatever. It was it. They had big shoes to fill in terms of the 90s, and then the 90s had big shoes to fill in terms of the 80s or whatever, with respect to guys like MJ, Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb, and all of those guys. So you had guys in there, man, like Vince Carter. You had people forget that Tracy McGrady, he competed in the dunk contest. People forget about Steve Francis. I already talked about Baron Davis and Steve Francis. Compete. People forget about Desmond Mason and Jason Richardson. Like, these guys had entered in. They ushered in a new breed of high flyers. Now, a lot of these guys weren't A-listers. They weren't A-listers. When you talk about Jason Richards, he was a good player, good in-game dunker, and out-game dunker or whatever. But he wasn't like no superstar. Nigga was Desmond Mason or whatever. And see, I think that it propelled the dunk contest, but it also, I think a lot of people felt like it hurt the dunk contest too, because of the appeal of the contest. Because then it's like, oh wow, we see Vince Carter. He at that time, he was emerging, into the superstar and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and a lot of people, they argue about Vince Carter becoming a Hall of Famer, but that's a whole nother argument. Now, going into like the mid 2000s, or whatnot, or what have you, you had guys that were willing to compete. I think a lot more big men were starting to get in there. You had like Amari Stoudemire. People forget that Amari Stoudemire had actually competed. Then you had Nate Robinson, and then of course Dwight Howard. You had Andre Iguodala and everything. You know what I'm saying? And they were exciting. You know what I'm saying? It was starting to be exciting. I think like the Superman and stuff like that. That's when you started to see, okay, this is starting to change a little bit, because now they're starting to use all these different props and stuff like that. Which don't get me wrong though, the props were okay and everything, but I think it was starting to get a little. It was starting to get a little bit out of hand a little bit because in my opinion, it's supposed to be about creativity. Then of course, who could forget about Gerald Green, you know, um, jumping over Nate Robinson to do the D Brown. But see, that's the thing. He did the same dunk, but he just added a little bit of flavor to it. But I still would like him to be a little bit innovative, right? You can't forget about you can't forget about like the 2010s, and I think that's when you started to really see it started to go down just a little bit, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like the early 2000s or whatever was when it started to be at its peak. And then some guys feel like the 80s and the 90s was. I mean, you had uh, Gerald Wallace, and then you had Shannon Brown, who were competing. And then how can you forget about people forget about DeMar DeRozan and what kind of ferocious dunker he was. And when Blake Griffin was healthy, people forget that he won because Blake Griffin could get up, you know, and I think people forget that Blake Griffin was a power dunker and how athletic he was at one point in time. You know, we also, I think like if we're looking at everything, the one with Aaron Gordon, Aaron Gordon, where he got robbed, that was an exciting one. That was an exciting one, you know. But after that, man, this the dunk contest has just diminished. It's just diminished. It's like you don't really see the excitement like you once used to. You anticipated because you actually had two superstars that were competing at the highest order, and you didn't really see that anymore. It's just like, okay, like last night, the only guy you would have known all those guys unless you really knew basketball, but a lot of people didn't even know who those guys was. But if LeBron would have competed, they would have known who he was. If somebody like uh, Russell Westbrook or DeMar DeRozan would have competed, they would have knew who he was. But it's not quite like that. I knew who Obi Toppin was. You know what I'm saying? I think he was sensational athletic wise, but there's some people that probably didn't even look at it that way. Um, but it's not authentic. It's not authentic anymore, man. It's lost its edge, and I think that I'm gonna be real with y'all. I fell asleep on it. Later on, I fell asleep on it. You said Vince said he was holding back. Yeah, he probably was. You said LeBron James was afraid to be embarrassed. Yeah, probably. We don't know. He competed. He actually competed in. See, people forget that LeBron James he competed in the high school All American slam dunk contest. So I think maybe he felt like, okay, well, I competed in the McDonald's All American. So I mean that was enough for him. You said there will be another. Never. There will never be another Vince Carter. Nah, there won't. There won't. I still haven't seen anybody dunk over viciously dunk over another human being, another 7 footer at that in the Olympics at that. But I think the thing that separates Vince Carter from a lot of guys And there's rare guys that could do this. Jordan could do it. Vince could do it. Dominique could do it. I already mentioned, you know, Jason Richardson, even though he's not wasn't on the level playing one. Those guys could dunk, do in game dunks, and they would do dunks that you were supposed to do in the contest in the actual game. You know, and I think that that's what separated. Vince was doing shit in the game. Like you, like God damn, nigga, you could save that for the for the actual dunk contest or whatever. So I mean, you know, it's just not the same, man. And I think I want to be hopeful, and I want them to come with something, you know, like a plan to say, okay, this is what we're gonna do to spice this up. Look, the theatrics and the game, and you know, I'm talking about like the trivia game and stuff like that. It didn't really make anything. I was more excited about the 3-point contest, and I was more excited about the the skills challenge. I was I was more on edge about the 3-point contest and more on edge about the skills contest than I was about the actual dunk contest. Like I I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, the dunk contest was supposed to be the icing on the cake, and I'm up in here falling asleep. I'm up in here falling asleep, Lou and Slinky and Wilts TJ and Swoop Cage and Martin Marco and Two Raw, man. I'm up in there falling asleep, man. Like that's how bad it was. And I never fall asleep during the All Star game. Like the All Star game, get ready to kick off right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping to myself. I'm hoping that I won't fall asleep. Look, I just felt like they shouldn't have changed anything. They shouldn't have changed no format. I understand that things have to, you got to spice things up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But the whole, even with the All Star game, I I don't even like the format or none of that. Just leave it the way it is. You know, I don't mind changes here and there, but all these damn, oh yeah, guys got to mix it up. You're playing for your point total. This guy, man, no, just play a regular game. But that's a whole nother topic, man. But yeah, the dunk contest has got to get better, man. And just going over time, man, you could see in one's opinion, and well, in my opinion, that the dunk contest was at its absolute peak in like the 2000s. Because it ushered in a brand of athleticism that we had never seen before. I mean, you look at a guy like Baron Davis and you be like, wow, this is a big guy, but he's still athletic as hell, freakish athletic. Well, you look at a guy like Nate Robinson, who, okay, yeah, we've seen Spud Webb before, but Nate Robinson is small and doing wild, freaky shit, in the air like we had never seen before, and so I think that that's when it was at its peak, and then I would say around 2000 and maybe 2013, 2014, 2015, it started to lose its edge. You said the last one was 2016 with Zach Levine. But see, I mean, yeah, that was good, but what made it bad was the fact that Aaron Gordon got robbed. That's Aaron Gordon got robbed. To me, to me, I think that the great one was of course Vince Carter, because it was just a single handed performance. You look for Vince Carter. That's the only you look for what Vince Carter was going to do. You look for what Vince Sanity was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, in terms of actually competing and stuff like that, like to me, the the single greatest performances by themselves, like pretty much just stealing the show, was Spud Webb. Yeah, no, but hey, it's your opinion though. Uh, I'm trying to think. Um, I think there was a couple other people that chose what you chose. Ming led. It's all good, man. Everybody. There's some guys that feel that David Thompson versus Dr. J was the best. There's guys that feel like um Dominique Wilkins versus MJ was the best. There's guys that feel like uh, Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson was the best. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever you want, man. Your opinion, man, is is welcome here, man. You know, I don't get mad now. If you sit here and you disrespectful with it, you know, and all this other stuff talking about, you know, that guy is trash, and you know, nah, he couldn't get up, or you say Spud Webb couldn't do this or couldn't do that, then we're having a different argument. But in terms of what you like, hey, that's fine. A lot of shoot, I know people that thought it was cool for Rick Barry, not Rick Barry, Brent Barry, to come out there in a jacket and you know, as a white boy, and just win hands down. You know what I'm saying? But they don't talk about that. You know, so it's diminished over time, man. I'm just hoping that it gets better. Hopefully, Adam Silver, you know, addresses the situation. You know, and because the dunk contest is what people live for. You know, you see Shaq's face. Yeah, yeah. You know, like you see Shaq's face, and you're looking at Shaq, and you're like, man, like this guy, you know, he's miserable. He's miserable about what he saw. Like you look at Shaq, look at Shaq. You understand what I'm saying? Like, look at the difference when he was younger, and look at his ass now. You're like disgusted. But you know, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Like the video, share it. Right, right, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went from like excitement, and then now he's like, man, I don't want to see shit. Like a disgruntled motherfucker, man. Like that's you know, he's like, man, he don't want to see that shit, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him, man. You know, people want to see good a good like contest. They want to see, you know, guys going at it. They want to see, you know, shockers. They want to see dramaticism, and all of that had took place with the skills contest and with the 3-point contest. You know, the 3-point contest to me was by far the best out of the whole night. You know, so yeah, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Leave your comments, like the video, share it, subscribe. I appreciate everybody pulling up. Hit them notifications. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'll get at y'all later.